Okay, Cancer, before you make your next move, I need you to watch this reading, all right? Because, y'all, I have a feeling that over these next several months, something that you have been confused about, something that you may have been hoping would work out, or maybe even someone, that you've been trying to understand, Cancer, it's about to look completely different, okay? Have y'all noticed that something just doesn't feel the same anymore? Y'all gonna have to let me know if you're picking up on that vibe. Like, maybe it's a relationship, maybe it's your career, maybe it's even a dream you've been chasing, Cancer, but something that just used to make perfect sense suddenly may not. Like, it just suddenly doesn't make sense, right? And I'm here to tell you, Cancer, you are not crazy, okay? You are not crazy. You are not overthinking. Neptune retrograde has officially begun, okay? And one of the biggest things this transit does, Cancer, is really kind of remove the fog, okay? It shows us what's real, what's been, kind of wishful thinking, and honestly, what our intuition has been trying to tell us all along, all right? So if you have personally been feeling a little confused lately, this reading is probably for you, all right? So tune in, tap in, all right? Let's see what Spirit wants Cancer to know, all right? We're going to look at the overall energy. Excuse me, y'all. We're going to look at the overall energy as Cancer moves into this Neptune retrograde energy. Thank you for clear, accurate messages for my fellow Cancerian placements. Look at that. Interesting energy coming out with this guilt showing up, and we have regret showing up at the bottom of the deck, Cancer. So this is as the card says, it's talking about this kind of anxiety, this energy of anxiety, and I feel like it really ties into this regrets energy that's showing up. This, it's almost kind of like these cards are mirror cards. Neptune rules the subconscious and dreams and memories and the stories that we replay in our minds and our heads, right? Retrograde tends to kind of bring those buried emotions back up to the surface, and it's not to make you suffer, right? But it's to really finally release them. This feels deeper than somebody's lying. It feels like you're being asked to stop carrying some type of like emotional weight, because it's like sabotaging yourself, right? It was never meant to become a part of your identity. Like, right away, the energy showing up as guilt, and this is not just talking bad about feeling bad over something that happened. I feel like this feels like some of you have been carrying emotional baggage, heavy emotional baggage for so long, okay, that you started to mistake it for your own personality, right? You started to believe, maybe I should have done more. Maybe I should have stayed longer. Maybe it's my fault. Maybe I could have fixed it. You know how you get in your head, Cancer. And Spirit is like, whoa, 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 hold up, okay? Because one thing about Neptune, y'all, Neptune does not just create this beautiful kind of dream. No. It doesn't just do that. Like, it can also create a very distorted narrative. Sometimes an illusion isn't the another person. Sometimes the illusion is the story that you've been telling yourselves, right? And so that story, that somehow everything, I feel like, rests on your shoulders. That's the story that you've been telling yourself, right? That story that you have to carry everybody else's emotions. But that story has ended, that like, we're wrapping that story up, Cancer. The story that you have to carry everyone and everybody else's emotions is just not no, okay? We are not taking that forward, all right? You have not failed because you aren't carrying everybody, okay? And that's that's really the truth. Then when you look at what's sitting underneath this energy, this repression, this regret, right? At the bottom of the deck, this tells me that this is what's quietly influencing the reading. I feel like some of y'all are still mentally living in the decision that you made months ago, even years ago. Like, you could be replaying some type of old conversation in your head, or you're replaying some type of missed opportunity, or wondering what, would have happened if you had chosen differently. But I feel like, What's interesting is Neptune's retrograde has a way of asking, like, are you truly remembering what actually happened? Or are you remembering the version of the story that your guilt is creating? You know what I mean? Because I'm telling you, y'all, guilt has a funny way of rewriting history, okay? Because it makes you forget everything that you were carrying and everything that you survived and everything that you didn't know at the time, you know? And all you can see is what you wish you would have done differently, right? And I really feel like what Spirit is saying, you know, you can't receive clarity, you know, while you're still constantly putting yourself on trial, Cancer, you know, like that's where the sabotages come in. But this is exactly why I wanted to do this reading around Neptune retrograde's energy, because Neptune rules our subconscious, you know, our dreams, you know, our intuition, and because it also rules illusions, you know. And when Neptune stations retrograde, the fog, you know, it starts to lift, and not because your life suddenly just changes overnight, but because you begin seeing yourself in situations through a different lens, like a clear lens, you know. For Cancers especially, this energy can feel, you know, kind of emotional, deeply emotional, because our sign, you know, just naturally processes life through our feelings, right, and our memories. So, you know, don't be surprised if over the next several months some old emotions come up, some old memories, some old wounds, okay, try to come back up. Yeah, and it's not because you're regressing in life or you're moving backwards, but I feel like Spirit is really giving you just one more opportunity to release, you know, all of what you've been carrying. You know what I mean? So, now I want to go a little deeper, because if this retrograde is going to be clearing, you know, clearing out this fog for us, what is it that we haven't been seeing clearly? Let's see, Spirit, what illusion is Neptune retrograde exposing for Cancer? What haven't we been seeing clearly? Oh, that's a lot. Look, is it a lot that we have not been seeing clearly? Wow, so interesting. There's somebody watching. There's information being gathered on you, Cancer. And you know, Cancer, I don't actually think this is about somebody spying on you, like in the literal sense. That could be the situation for some person, but I feel like that's just the surface of this. And you know, what's interesting, because this question wasn't who's watching you, the question was what illusion is Neptune retrograde exposing, right? And this is the card that we get, the watching. And I really think Spirit is asking, like, what have you been watching? You know, what information have you been gathering? You know, what have you been paying attention to, Cancer? Because wherever your attention goes, that's where your energy will follow, okay? And some of you have been watching somebody else's life, or somebody else's success, or someone else's relationship, right? Someone else's timeline, and you're trying to gather information. You know, you could be trying to figure everything out, and Spirit is saying, and it's not like you're doing it in a malicious way or trying to like compare yourself to them, but it's like, you know, it's like you're trying to figure it out. Okay, if they figured it out, let me figure out how they figured it out so I can go behind them and figure it out for myself. That's what I feel like you're trying to do. You may be looking to someone else that may have done something that you want to do. But, you know, I feel like while you're trying to watch everybody else, Spirit is saying, you know, you stop watching the main person you need to be watching, which is yourself, Cancer. You know, for others of you've been watching for signs. That's what you've been doing. You've been watching for signs that something is just gonna go wrong. You've been waiting for that shoe to drop, watching to see who's gonna leave, watching to see who's gonna disappoint you, who's gonna change. Like I'm telling you, just waiting for that other shoe to drop. That's a survival response, y'all, okay? But Neptune has a way of kind of blurring the line between intuition and being hyper vigilant, you know. And just because you're constantly looking for something doesn't mean that it's actually there, you know what I mean? Yeah, this card kind of reminds me this Mars energy, because it's really the Knight of Wands, but it kind of gives me this Page of Swords energy naturally, because it's always observing, right? And always kind of just gathering some information. And I feel like that's what you've been doing. Spirit is asking, are you gathering clarity, or are you like just feeding your anxiety? You know what I mean? And this is where this Mars energy shows up, y'all. This is where things really get good. Because underneath all of this, Mars is all about action, right? Mars is courage and movement, which tells me that some of y'all have been spending so much time observing and thinking and analyzing and watching and replaying, and you may have stopped making some moves, and Neptune can kind of keep us kind of stuck in that dream. But Mars says, it's time to do something. Like, you got to actually do something with what you've learned. Okay. And I'm telling you, isn't that interesting, y'all? Because the first card talked about this guilt, and now this card is talking about watching. Guilt keeps you looking back, right? Watching keeps you looking outward, but neither one has you looking towards your present and your future. And I really feel like that's what Neptune retrograde is going to expose for you, Cancer. Where has your attention been? Okay, because I'm telling you, wherever your attention has been, wherever you've been showing your attention, eventually that's what has your energy. Okay, and so we talked about the illusions. We talked about where your attention is going. Let's see if we finally see the truth. What blessing is going to be waiting for us on the other side. Cause I don't believe Spirit just clears away the fog just to leave us standing here in confusion. Okay, so let's see what's the blessing that Neptune retrograde is making room for in Cancer's life. What's the blessing that this retrograde is making room for in Cancer's life, Spirit? Oh, so look, change. Okay. And I'm telling you, definitely that's the energy. If I could give it a key theme for this kind of season that Cancers are going to be in, is definitely getting a spark back. Okay. It feels like a renewal of life force energy. Okay. I really do love this energy showing up, because notice the blessing. Spirit ain't say the blessing was more money, right? It's not a relationship. It's not like some big miracle, right? Spirit is saying that the blessing is just change. This 8 of Wands movement. And I know change doesn't always sound exciting. Okay. Sometimes it can be even a little scary. But let me tell you, if you have been living under this Neptune's fog, the clarity is change. Okay. The moment that you stop telling yourself or believing that old story, that's when your decisions are going to change. That's when your standard is going to change. Like, you know what I mean? Your boundaries are going to change. The way you make moves is going to change. The people that you entertain, that's going to change. And I'm telling you, all of that compounded all together, eventually your life changes completely, Cancer. Okay. I also love that she's literally walking, like she's not standing still anymore. She's not looking behind her. She's not looking at anybody else's lane, seeing what's going on over there. Like, she's simply moving forward, And remember what we just talked about. This guilt got you stuck. You can't see nothing, okay? Got you in the fetal position, right? Watching had you looking outward. But this change requires you to look forward. And I really, really think that the blessing that Neptune retrograde is going to be bringing y'all is courage. The courage to finally move differently because you see differently, And what's so interesting is Neptune isn't just retrograding. It's retrograding in the sign of Aries, y'all. And Aries is the first zodiac sign, right? It represents courage and action and new beginnings. So this isn't just about seeing the truth. I feel like this is about having the courage to actually do something with the truth. You know what I mean? So, because look, clarity without action is you just got more information. Okay. What is that going to do? Like, what needs to be done to save you, but are you going to do it to save yourself? You know what I mean? Because just knowing it ain't going to do nothing, right? But clarity with courage is what's going to change your life. That's what's going to change your life, Cancer. But this is the energy that's really beautiful. This is what I'm talking about underneath renewal, because this tells me that this isn't an ending reading, okay? This is giving very much rebirth, okay? Some of you may have been so focused on what you're losing okay, that you haven't realized what you're actually making room for, okay? Spirit keeps showing me this theme about, you know, releasing and clarity and movement and renewal. Y'all, that's the order. You don't skip to renewal without first, you know, letting the fog clear. That's what we were talking about, the process, okay? And I'm telling you, sometimes the greatest blessing isn't what you prayed for. It's finally seeing, you know, through the fog clearly enough to pray for something better. Because I feel like spirit, there's definitely a strong message with like not settling and going for the, like, you're thinking small, you need to be thinking big, okay? But I think, you know, so we know the overall energy with this guilt that's showing up. We know what illusion is spirit is trying to clear away for us. And we know that the blessing that's waiting to come in is this courage on the other side. Let's see how we need to work with it. Okay. Spirit, what does Cancer need to do during Neptune retrograde to ensure that they receive this change, this renewal? Okay, make the most of this season, this transit. What's the advice for Cancers during this Neptune retrograde? Okay, so look at that. Tapping in with your higher self. Activation, okay. Decision showing up here at the bottom of the deck. And I feel like this is the road between the old you and the new you. That's what it's given. That's the theme that's been running through, okay? This is probably my favorite card in the whole reading, y'all, because even though I asked about advice, Spirit isn't saying like, go do this, go do that. Like, Spirit is really saying just connect with your higher self first. Like, check in with you first, Cancer, you know? Because here's the thing. Your higher self has never been confused, okay? It's your ego that gets confused, right? It's your fear that gets you confused. It's the guilt that gets confused. But your higher self has definitely been trying to guide you this entire time. This entire time, Cancer. And isn't that exactly what Neptune rules? Hello, your intuition, spirituality, your dreams, your connection to something greater than yourself. Okay, which tells me Neptune retrograde isn't asking you to go searching outside of yourself for answers. Okay, it's asking you to get still and quiet enough to hear the answers that have already been in you, inside of you, Cancer. Have already been answered, okay? The fog isn't clearing so that you can hear everybody else, okay? The fog is clearing so that you can finally hear yourself. That's what this is, Cancer, okay? And this ties everything together beautifully with this decision showing up. Because some of y'all have been asking Spirit, should I stay? Should I leave? Should I reach out? Should I start over? Should I take this opportunity? Whatever you've been asking, here's what Spirit is saying, okay? Don't make this decision from guilt, okay? Don't make it out of fear. Don't make it because someone that you're comparing yourself to, you know, they're making a decision this way or that way. Do not make this decision from fear, y'all, okay? Make it from clarity. Because I'm telling you, the decisions that you make during this retrograde, y'all, are going to have the potential to completely change the direction of your life, okay? It is going to change where you are headed next. You see this road? I'm telling you, Cancer, look at the journey that Spirit took us on today. We started with the guilt, okay? Carrying stuff over that is never meant to define you. That's the old Cancer. That is not who Cancer is, okay? We moved into watching. Now, some of you may have somebody that's in your energy and you're going to find this information out, that they're keeping tabs on you or trying to find out information. But that's just the very surface level of that message, okay? I don't get caught up in that, because what's really happening here is you're realizing how much of your energy has been focused on the wrong things, right? Then Spirit showed us to have this courage to change, you know, reminding us that clarity isn't the end of the journey. Like, just getting the answer ain't the end, okay? It's the beginning of your next journey, right? So, and then, finally, we end with your higher self, because that's what Neptune retrograde is all about. It's not just about exposing the truth around you. It's about helping you reconnect with the truth that's within you. And if you spend this retrograde trying to control everything else, you're probably going to leave just as confused as you started. So you know, spend this retrograde getting honest with yourself, Cancer, okay? Listen to your intuition, release the guilt, and allow yourself to change. You have to allow the change, Cancer, okay? And I honestly believe you're going to look back in a few months, y'all, a few months from now, and just really realize that this wasn't the season that, you know, broke you. It may feel like that at this moment, but this is the season that really wakes you up. That's what I feel like this is. I'm gonna leave the message here, y'all. If this reading resonated with you, let me know down in the comments what part spoke to you the most. I love hearing how these messages unfold for you all personally. If you want to understand why this Neptune retrograde is showing up the way it is in your birth chart, you know, not just for the Cancerian general placement overall, that's exactly what we go into in my private sessions. All right. So we look at your unique birth chart, you know, your current transits, all of that good stuff, and how to work with this energy instead of against it. Okay, so tap the link in my description box or the pinned comment section down below. Okay, but yeah, I'm gonna leave it here, y'all. Until next time, make sure you're trusting your intuition, Cancer, because I have a feeling that intuition is about to get a whole lot louder. This activation is happening. Okay, you know what too, I feel like this is a nod to your spiritual gifts activating in a way that's really about to change your life too, and have people watching you. There's a whole nother message trying to come out of this reading, but I'm gonna leave it here, y'all. Maybe we'll come back and dive deeper. Y'all let me know if that part resonated with you. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it here. In the meantime, in between time, until next time, I love you.